All right, we have covered squats and deadlifts, which we want you to incorporate at least once a week. And so today is all about press. And not accessory work pressing, but lifting, pressing, what you should be doing. So I have Coach Sav. Welcome, Coach Sav. She's our savage of the gym that we just try to keep up with. So we're gonna focus on strict press, push press, bench press, how to do variations of it, and then as simple as the push-up. So let's just start with the strict press. Do you like the press?
I love pressing.
It's underutilized, I think, in the strict press because it's hard and challenging. It feels weird because it just kind of is. But when you incorporate strict pressing or bench pressing or push pressing and you do it correctly, you start to see a lot of gains. And so go ahead and step in with the barbell, what the press looks like.
So of course you want to align your hands. I'm going to have my elbows slightly out, but still underneath. Notice I have a full range already beginning here on the deltoids.
So let's talk about that because a lot of people will pick this up and it will feel like this, right? You've never had that mobility or you've just never tried it or it's hard on the wrists. So what would we do if that's the case?
Well, if that's the case, then we need to do a lot more mobility. But if we can get it here, we're going to get it there.
Stretch lats. So that's usually what that mobility is. So that lat right here, if you're used to pressing a lot or doing a lot of pull-ups, that is why it's really hard to drive those elbows up.
Tight lats. I'm already kind of cramping up there.
So move them organically, have someone push and get them stretched or foam roll the lats, which we can show you. Okay, so go ahead, continue.
Yeah, so with the full grip here, as always with any lift, I want to make sure I have full tension in my entire body. So going back to that tight core, I have a tight core, so I'm going to take a big old breath, tighten it down, press straight up.
One thing I want to focus on when we say tight core, go ahead and bring it down. When you guys are about to press, think about tucking your stomach slightly in. So we're not over tucking, but your belly button isn't going to be arched out. So tuck in and you'll see your butt kind of, because your butt's squeezing. And when you're starting to press weight overhead with a strict press, the best range of motion is actually in line with your body. But if you didn't move your head, you would knock your chin. So you have to start with your chin forward. As it presses, her head goes back, but as soon as she can, she presses her head through. So if you look from the side, the barbell is right over her heels. Her barbell is in that center of her body. It's not forward, it's not back, and the only way she's able to do that is by moving head and keeping body tight because we don't want it too far because then we're extending our back, and we definitely don't want it too forward. Because then we're going to put too much strain on our shoulders, and this is a horrible position to be.
Yep, can't lift heavy like that.
You cannot. So the strict press is really hard. What's your 1 rep strict press?
Oh man, in my good days, maybe 130.
That's pretty good. So it's hard because it is heavy. There's no movement of your lower body. But I also like to train push press. This is when we can start to engage our lower body. There's a dip drive that happens with our legs. So she slightly pushes her knees out, hips go back, and now she has a dip drive to help with that momentum. So do a set of 5 for me. You guys might have seen this before. This is perfect as far as helping explode those hips, and with that weight, you can get about 20 to 40% more, maybe not 40, I'd say 20% more of strict press to push press if you do it correctly. And so it's a little bit more fun because it's not so humbling as far as strict press goes. Yeah. We're gonna move the exact same way, but with dumbbells or an impact. So dumbbells, go ahead and grab.
She's putting me to work today.
I am. I got her 30. She can handle it.
All right, strict press.
Strict press.
Prone grip.
Prone grip. When I like the biggest thing with this is very rarely are people able. You can go ahead and do a few reps if you want. Very rarely are people able to press over weight without arching their back if their core is not strong enough. So let's sit on the bench for this. And so driving your feet, getting your feet on the ground, kind of swinging those dumbbells up. This is also the exact same way that you can engage shoulders, delts, good. Get that stomach tight, avoid arching. Yes, Sav. Those are heavy dumbbells. Good job. And breast. Same thing with the MPAC. When you're looking at strict press, so strict here or push press here. You ready for bench press?
Yeah.
So strict press, push press, at least one of those, and if not one of those, bench press. So we're gonna go here. I'm gonna go behind you and then lift this barbell for you.
Cool.
So go ahead and talk about how you get positioned for the bench press, because I see this wrong all the time.
Well, I love the bench. There's not a lot of loading on the spine, so it's okay for me to overarch and make sure I'm really tight in my lats. So I like to get down here. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Again, as always, making sure my hands are aligned by feeling that knurling. And then I'm going to tuck my shoulder blades or my scapula down towards my butt. I'm also going to bring my butt up towards my scaps, all right? That's really going to ensure that tension. I want to activate my lats by tucking my elbows under. With that big breath, making sure my core is tight again. Exploding out of the bottom.
So one thing people would see this and say, well, your back is arched, that must be bad. But if your hips are in contact with the bench, your chest or your upper back is in contact with the bench, what you can do, if you put your hands here and engage back, what she just said is engaging your upper back to help with your shoulder and chest strength. If you do not do that, that is when so many people get injured with bench press because nothing is engaged. Nothing is engaged except push, push, push. So you're gonna pronate those shoulders and you're gonna start to get some rotator cuff issues. So using the lower body, using our upper back, you can engage full body when you're looking at the bench press to do it finally correctly. So do a few more reps. Focusing on 45 degrees, we don't want super wide grip, we don't want super narrow grip unless you're isolating chest and triceps, which is a great thing to do, but we like this 45-degree angle for just typical bench press, sets of 5s, 3s, 5s, 10s, and of course the occasional 1 rep max. What's your 1 rep max on bench?
185. I talked about my max.
Damn! Okay, that's good. Same thing with the bench press, so I'm gonna get you in this bench press with dumbbells. Use a spotter as needed.
Thank you.
Lay back if you don't have access to a barbell or no spotter. Same thing, you can engage the lower body and press 45-degree angles. And if you guys notice, this is the same muscle group you would be doing for a for a push-up. So if you want to get better at push-ups and you want to work on upper body strength really easily at home, you can do it as simply as doing some push-ups. So let's go in a plank position for me. I'm going to talk them through. Okay. Get your hat on. So same kind of position that we had for the lats engagement, shoulders right above, or for the plank as well, shoulders right above hands, core nice and tight. Do not do a push-up slappy, meaning your spine changes. I would rather you drop to your knees and go full range of motion all the way down. Touch chest and bring it back up. She's doing lots of short, like very close grip. And so if you want to get a little bit more chest and a little less tricep, you can go slightly wider. But what I do, go ahead and do a few reps. We want to be careful if we go too wide, which I see a lot of people do, it's just so easy to pronate and you'll start to see impingement in the shoulders. See this right here? This is a poor push-up. Bring those hands in, stick that chest out, keep the core tight, butt tucked, and breathe it out as you press up. Yes, Sav. Sav's gonna work out in. Good. Anything else about pressing? We definitely want to press in some form once a week. We're gonna talk about pulling tomorrow, which I think is more important because we press, everyone bench presses.
Oh yeah.
Or they at least know what bench
A lot
press
of
is.
people like to bench. We
Yeah.
see a lot of people with shoulder injuries because they just press, maybe even press here. Maybe they have some bad form, they're still pressing here, not really getting a whole lot of scapular retraction.
Boom.
Or they're even benching wrong. And
Yes.
that's just instability here, causing more load on the front. Could be really prone to injury.
All injuries really are an imbalance in some way, unless it's an event that happened or repetitive injury. It's usually just focusing on the front side more than the back side. It's very rare that we see people focusing on pulling, deadlifts, or the things we'll talk about tomorrow more than pressing. So as much as we love pressing, equally as important for you to tune in tomorrow so you can balance it out with some pulling. Thanks, Coach Sav.
Yep.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks.